Good evening. Welcome to the September 4th, 2018 Dayton City Council meeting. Tiffany, roll call.
Mayor Borowski?
Here.
Member Walter?
Here.
Member Burns?
Here.
Member Neary?
Here.
Member Baker?
Here.
Member Haas? Member Lynn?
Here.
City Administrator Gibbon?
Here.
City Attorney Edge?
Here.
All rise for prayer and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, anyone who would like to address City Council, go up to the podium, state your name, address, address council.
Tammy Cornell, 225 3rd. I just wanted to give everybody a little update on the City Music Fest. I want to thank everybody for volunteering and helping out and donating in any capacity that you did. We don't have numbers yet because we have to wait on beer refunds and different things like that, but it looks like we took a little over 500 in at the gate that we did last year. So we have two more things coming in financially. Hometown Heroes donated 25% back to us. The gate did 2,400. 1,200 goes to the River City Ducks. The other 1,200 goes to us. So I don't have numbers, but it does look like we did a little bit better than last year. So I'm happy with that, especially with it getting stormed out on Friday night at 9:30. For some of the people who stayed under the pavilion, so I ran out at 11:45. But other than that, it was a great weekend. Everything went well. We had no issues. Not one issue that I know of. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Good job.
Mayor, Matt, I just want to make a comment today. I want to personally thank Tammy and Craig for an outstanding job they did. Unthankless they did, and they didn't do it for themselves, but they did it for the kids of Dayton. So Tammy and Craig, outstanding job.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address council at this time? Dave?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dave Cole. I live at 326 Avenue in Dayton, Kentucky. I was here a couple months ago. We were having a cat problem in my block. I want to thank the people, the officials in Dayton for taking care of this problem. Been to fiscal court a couple of times on this matter, trying to get some language changed. And I had a question for the city attorney. I guess that's who I addressed this to. I was going over codes for the city as far as cats goes. I'd like to read section 91.05. It shall be unlawful for the owner of any dog or cat, licensed or unlicensed, permit the dog or cat to leave or be beyond the private premises upon which the dog or cat is kept, except when accompanied or controlled by its owner and secured by means of a collar or harness with chain or leash attached thereto and held by the owner. Said owner shall not permit the dog or cat to be present upon any public property unless the requirements of this section are met. Further, the owner shall not permit the dog or cat to go upon the private property of another without the permission of the owner of such property. And then, reading from the June issue of the Dayton Community News that was put in there by Terry Baker, Animal Control. Leash laws are required for any dog you own, babysit, the visitor that you feed. And just a little bit further down, it needs a leash. Also, service animals are required to follow all laws and need a leash. Cats are now exempt from this ordinance if they are spayed and neutered. So what code are we going by? Are we going by what Tammy Baker put in there, or are we going by the code on the books?
I don't know what Tammy Baker's referring to. Wouldn't be able to reference what her state of mind or anything like that is. City of Dayton's going to enforce its codes as they are legal. As long as none of them are bound any kind of illegality or against what's written in Kentucky revised statute, that's what we're going to follow.
Okay, so we're going by our code, okay. With the fiscal court, I want to get some numbers on how many cats are being picked up in the 10 cities that animal control takes care of, and I'd like to give you those numbers now. Silver Grove is 38, Fort Thomas 41, Cold Springs 66, California 84, Melbourne 89, Southgate 25, Allen Heights 36, Wilder 22, Newport 138, Bellevue 101, Dayton 213. So the reason I went down there, that was one of the reasons I went down, and I asked through an open order request. And in that request, I wanted to know where they were picking the cats up at and return them to. And they would not give me the addresses because pursuant to KRS 61.878, and that it contains information of a personal nature with a public disclosure thereof constitute a clearly unreasonable invasion of personal privacy, which I can understand. So then I went in and got another open request, and I wanted the general area of where they're picking these cats up at and return them to sort of give that information to you all, so that there's one area in the city where we're picking up a lot of cats, we would want to hit that part of the city. And they returned my request on this. In regards to the general area where the cats are being picked up and returned, there is not a document that contains this information. In order to meet this request, the county would have to prepare a separate document that currently does not exist. The Open Records Act does not require the public agency to create a document that doesn't already exist. My question is, we call and say we have a cat at a location, they come and pick it up. They already have that information. I think since we are paying part of animal control's salary, that we should have privy to that information. And I think the city should request that from the county. I know in the city, and the city's come a long way. We have some absentee landlords. We have, I know, abandoned buildings where these animals could be getting in and breeding. That was one of the reasons I wanted that information, so we can sort of look at that. In fact, I have there's a home across the street from where I live. There hasn't been anybody in that house for years. I understand they stole all the copper plumbing out of it. I don't know if there's broken windows in there. I think it's something we ought to take a look at in case they are getting that piece of property. Also, I know that when we send out tax bills, that they're put in the mailbox, and then the owner picks up the tax and pays the taxes. As long as they're paying the taxes, then nothing's really being said or done. I would think maybe we would want to, in this situation, put a letter in the mailbox requesting them to come down to the city building to pick up their tax bills. That way we have a chance to, meet them and talk to them and see what their plans are or what's going on.
The one house you're talking about, Dave, Phil, the one house you're talking about, Phil is on that. He's had that person in the city building.
Oh, he has?
Oh, yeah.
I know last time I talked, they couldn't find him.
No,
so
he
they have
finally
him.
found him, and he had him up there.
Okay, good,
All right.
good. But just one more thing. And the situation happened to me, and I just want to make sure this doesn't happen again. When animal control, they're telling me that they can't give me information because of the Privacy Act, but then animal control is picking up stray cats and putting them back on somebody's property, private property. So in my way of thinking, they are invading that person's privacy. They should not be able to put one of those cats back on anybody's property. If these are community cats, then they should be returned, but not returned to anybody's property. Okay? And lastly, I want to tell you how good the streetlights look in the city. They're really looking good. So I want to thank you all for that too. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, David.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Lauren Stenberg, 213 Lindsay, apartment B. I made a request on the August meeting about a light in the alley, and I just wanted to say thank you. It was put up on August 16th. I appreciate the swiftness in which that was done. I know you guys get a lot of complaints, not a lot of thanks. So it's great. It's exactly where I wanted it. It lights it up enough to where it's not so scary back there. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Moving on. Need approval for the minutes from the August 7th, 2018 public hearing and regular council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Next on the agenda is ordinances. Ordinance number 2018, number 11. These are all first readings. Amending alcoholic beverage license.
City of Dayton, Kentucky, ordinance 2018 number 11. An ordinance amending chapter 111 of the City of Dayton Code of Ordinances for alcoholic beverage licenses. This ordinance repeals and replaces chapter 111 of the City of Dayton Code of Ordinances for alcoholic beverage licenses. The new ordinance names the chief of police as the city alcoholic beverage control administrator. The ordinance further authorizes alcoholic beverage license and outlines the application process. In addition, the ordinance regulates the basis for denial, suspension, and revocation of licenses. Moreover, the ordinance outlines the annual fee for each authorized alcoholic beverage license and requirement that the license be posted prominently within the business. Furthermore, the ordinance outlines when alcoholic beverage sales are prohibited and requires that all employees working in establishments selling distilled spirits, wine, or malt beverages are sold or dispensed by the drink shall register and be fingerprinted with the police department. Lastly, the ordinance outlines the penalties for violation of the alcoholic beverage license ordinance as follows. Section 111.99 penalties. Each and every violation of this ordinance shall be a misdemeanor for which a person convicted thereof in a court of competent jurisdiction shall be sentenced to pay a criminal fine not to exceed the maximum amount of $500 as set forth in Kentucky Revised Statute 534.050, Section 2A, or a term of imprisonment not to exceed the maximum period of 12 months as set forth in Kentucky Revised Statute 532.090, Section 1, or both. The penalties provided in this section shall be in addition to any suspension, revocation, or the offender's license.
That's the first reading. Next on the agenda is the first reading of the tax rate, but we have two tax rates, so we have to decide which one of these we're going to read. They were both, I believe, were both of them sent out, or just? Okay, both of them were sent out. One, explain this. Sure. Just compensating.
So 2 weeks ago, Council, I sent out my full report on the tax rate breakdown, and didn't get any comments from anybody. I didn't call a meeting of the Finance Committee because, quite frankly, I didn't want to waste their time. I've been down this road all 5 years I've been the administrator, and we haven't touched the tax rate, so I didn't want to waste my breath on the argument, at least with them. So I didn't hear from anybody else, so I just what I presented to you all 2 weeks ago and again last week were two different numbers. One being the compensating rate, which would allow us to tax real property to bring in the same amount as we did last year. And then the second option was I just kept the tax rate the same. For reference, the compensating rate went from 0.445 to 465. So that would be the compensating rate you see in the first option. And then, like I said, I've kept it at 0.445 for option 2. So we didn't get any comments or responses from everybody, so that's what I went with. If you want to open it up for
Like this,
discussion.
we're going to have to have a discussion on which rate we want to go with, because we can't read both of them. So, what's anybody's feelings on this?
Since the compensating rate doesn't even really bring in any real revenue, I would say that we keep the tax rate the same.
Anyone else have any comments on it?
I mean, it doesn't really,
No, I don't.
if you look at it, taxes are high enough.
I have a question on automobiles and watercraft. I gave everybody a copy of this, and I downloaded this from the Kentucky government tax rate site. I don't have the URL on here, but documented watercraft on their 2017 tax rate says Dayton is basically 0.750, and you're saying 0.5009 on automobiles and watercraft. Is that, what is the current rate on automobiles and watercraft?
Should be that point.
Yeah, 009, that's from last year.
Okay, so that site is incorrect then.
What number did they have on there?
0.750.
I have no idea how they came up with that.
I'll send you the URL and we can get it corrected hopefully.
Yeah, once we pass the tax rate, we'll send
I wonder if they copied the tangible. Because that was at 75 last year, it got down to 7.739.
that might have been that.
Okay, if anybody else have anything to add to that, if not, we'll read the ordinance with the 4.45 tax rate.
City of Dayton, Kentucky ordinance 2018 number 12, an ordinance providing for the imposition, levy, collection, and appropriation of taxes for the city of Dayton, Campbell County, Kentucky for the fiscal year July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019. This ordinance sets the real property as the real tax rate for the city for the present fiscal year at 0.4950 per $100 of value for real property, 0.5009 per $100 of value for automobile personal property, and at 0.739 per $100 of value for all other property. Of that amount, the real property tax rate will go to the general fund. 0.0500 of the real property tax rate will go to the park maintenance and construction. 0.5009 of the automobile personal property tax rate will go to the general fund, and 0.739 of the personal property tax rate will go to the general fund. It sets the bank deposits at 25 thousandths of 1% for those deposits. The payer of these taxes may pay the sum to less 2% if paid by December 31st, 2018, or the full amount by January 31st, 2019. The above taxes may be paid on the 30th day of September 2018 at the office of the city clerk treasurer and shall be delinquent after November 12, 2018. A penalty of 10% and interest at the rate of 12% per annum shall be charged in the account of such tax from November 13, 2018, as otherwise provided by council by order to the date of payment.
It's the first reading. And that's all I got. Michael?
two handicap parking requests. First one is 424 8th Avenue. The applicant meets all the requirements, so forth. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve.
Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the handicap application.
Motion by Ben.
424.
Second.
Second by Bill. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
And the second one was from 211 5th. The applicant again meets all the requirements as set forth in the city ordinance, so I'd like to ask for a motion to accept 211 5th Avenue.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Danny,
Second.
second by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
And last thing I have is paving bids. Unless they left the sheet of my office, so if we can maybe bump that down, I'll pull them. I've got it on my email, so if you just give me a minute.
Sure. We'll go to the department heads. Tiffany, anything?
The financials were submitted.
Thank you. Bob?
Yep.
Hello, Mayor this month, I want to remind everybody that Beyond the Curve, we're going to Dayton on September 30th from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the 5th anniversary tour. For more information, keep up on it. Check out www.beyondthecurve.org. Tom and I are wrapping up, and Mike are wrapping up 3 CCAP structural improvement grants, one for Smitty's, one for 26th Avenue, and one for a roof for Silverburn Records. So that's moving along very well, and that's moving very popular this year. City Attorney Tom Egg is updating our CCAP contracts and working on, as part of the structural improvement grant, there's a lien placed on the property. Moving forward on those and updating those. The Dayton campaign is winding down, or we finished, or if you can still get a stamp, get one. Yeah. That's just it. And the other stamp card, one of these, we're going to delay. Just drop them off at the city building, and we'll get you a T-shirt. They need to be dropped off, but yeah, you can get your T-shirts there. So that was a really great promotion. Let me just say, Main Street Forward, Beth and Doug did a great job. Got a lot of good promotion for what's happening in the city. A lot of business for the restaurants. They really liked it. It was fun. And all the Facebook people taking pictures of their photo from food all around Dayton. Saw it all month long. It was a nice 2 months long. So it was a 2-month promotion about all the restaurants thing. So really great idea. And if they want to do it again next year, I'd fully support that. Main Street Board put on their community picnic on Saturday, July 11th. Everybody had a good time. A little rain issues, but we survived and nobody got too wet, so that was pretty good. Some announcement, Good and Taza Coffee, you should all know them. We'll be setting up starting this Friday, all Fridays through September and October on the corner of 6th and Berry in front of the Gravy Building. She's setting up her card and doing a trial and trying to get Dayton residents more familiar with her, and just doing some product testing and market testing on that, so that's a really good thing. Jay Banks has opened up a retail shop for his native brand clothing, 514 6th Avenue. He's also got an application to put up the sign. Actually, I encourage people to go in there. The shop is really cool. They do what's called a hate brand right now. It's kind of a thing that younger people get into. Really cool shop, and while they last, you can spin a wheel and potentially win some vintage Saved by the Bell trading cards. It's still in fulfillment. Great kid, great guy. I got to give him that. So the grants thing, some updates. We're waiting on approval from KYTC. We finished everything up in the design phase. Had to go take pictures of all the buildings that would be affected by it. As far as I know, there is nothing else that KYTC needs. It doesn't mean I don't answer the phone calls, but I've gotten it many times. They come back and say one more thing. But I think they have that. We've already met with the right-of-way consultants and talked to them. getting that all lined up, so as soon as we get the stamp of approval from KYTC, we'll move into that phase. The Board of Architectural Review update. At the August meeting, they approved the designs for 301 6th Avenue, that's Brian Boland's building on the corner of 6th and Vine, and Spitty's Bar, the old Spitty's Bar, which will be the new Avenue Pharmacy, on the corner of 6th and Walnut. We know where those are at. Also, there'll be a special meeting this Thursday in this room at 7 p.m. to go over a COA request from the Dayton Baptist Church to demolish 516 Dayton Avenue for parking lot. And that's then. And Economic Development Committee meetings. I'm going to be calling a meeting soon. Want to discuss some potential new programs affecting basically the industrial park and some updates to some of our district programs. Just have a discussion on there. Potentially, if we like the ideas, potential changes in the future. But Tom and I and Michael have been working on some stuff, and we think it's about time to bring it out into the world and start talking about it. So I will send you a couple meeting requests to see if we can make something about that. That's all I have today. Anything else?
Any questions for Bob?
How many volunteers you need for Beyond the Curve?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard what they need yet, so I'm not.
Usually 4 or 5 per house, and I think we have 5 properties or 4.
John's not updated me in a week, so I do not know those exact 5, so how about 20? So, okay.
Anyone else got anything for Bob? Good job, Bob.
All right.
Good work. Phil's on vacation. You all got a report, or should I add an email to you? Chief Halfill?
I didn't have anything else to add except for the report that I got. Busy month.
Mike, any questions for Dave? Great.
Oh, that issue with the
Chief?
apartment side of
Chief Atkins?
You all have my report. I don't have a whole lot to add to it. Any questions about any of that? No?
Everything going okay?
It is. I'm getting my bearings about me. On a personal note, a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to take part in an event down at Dayton, down at Lincoln, and also at Granby Elementary. A group called Samaritan's Feet, which is an international group, and their mission is to put shoes on every child in all the schools. And his goal is to do 10 million shoes in 10 years. They came in on Thursday and Friday, and we were in Grandview on Thursday, and Lincoln on Friday, and I was with several volunteers. Mr. Holz's wife was down there, several other people along with all the students. And the sense of community I got was unbelievable. We put a brand new pair of tennis shoes and a brand new pair of socks on every kid from preschool up to 5th grade in the schools. And in Dayton, specifically, the senior class, as a group, decided to volunteer that day. And they were in the middle of taking care of them. We took each kid, washed their feet, we talked to them, and we got them a brand new pair of shoes and a pair of socks. And it just, that was just a really neat thing to be a part of it, to watch, sit back and watch. Because I just kind of sat back toward the end, just kind of watched the kids do it and the students. And the fact that they were in the middle of it helping them was kind of heartwarming and lets you know that, there's good still in the world and things looking good for Dayton in the future. That's all I got.
Anybody got anything, Chris? Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Any correspondence? Any petitions? Council? Any unfinished business?
I'll go with this one. If you want to count it, I got the bids for the paving. As I sent you all my report last week, we had 4 people bid on the project, on our concrete and asphalt project. 3 of the 4 bid both the asphalt and concrete, and confirmed just bid the concrete. Bluegrass Paving had the best overall bid of both asphalt and concrete. $97,289.38 for the asphalt portion. That does include grading and stonework for the base of the parking lot at Jamestown Pike Park. concrete portion, $26,497.93, for a total of $123,787.31. So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve Bluegrass paving for the total amount I just listed there.
Need a motion?
Mayor, I make that motion, we accept Bluegrass paving bid for $128,787.31.
Motion by Bill,
Second.
second by Denny. Any comments?
26,993 for concrete?
Yeah, $26,497.
97.
And that's exclusively for a parking pad up at Jamestown Pike Park?
No, that's also for curbs, well, certain sections of the city. So it's not just the parking lot.
But the parking area that you proposed is included in this total bid?
The, under the concrete bid, there's a concrete apron that will go on the parking lot.
Okay.
And then the other portions of that bid include other curbs throughout town. And then the asphalt bid that I gave you, the $97,000, that includes several streets in Dayton, including the grading work and the asphalt for the parking lot part as well.
The park will be aptly named because it's be all we can do up there.
Any more comments? Tiffany, roll call.
Member Aaron,
No.
Member Baker,
Aye.
Member Lynn,
Aye.
Member Volter,
Aye.
Member Burks.
Aye. The ayes have it.
That's it, Nick.
Any more, any unfinished business?
Do we have any further updates on Route 8, Route 8 issue?
Now, I spoke with Newport today, they were unaware of everything. I've spoken before Thomas, we're all kind of in the same boat, kind of waiting. I think when I called them and said, hey, what's going on, how about a heads up, I think that's when they put the trash bags over the signs. All they told me was they would keep us in the loop and that they would make some sort of announcement in the future.
You know, I was saying the other day, even out on 27 in Southgate, they got 27. And I don't know.
Long term,
Oh,
right. Long term, they want to make changes to Route 8. They want to reroute Route 8. They've made that clear. You know, they haven't involved any of the cities, and they haven't really done any extensive public outreach participation in that. But that's what they decided that they want to do. It's just when they're going to do it and what it really means is what they're kind of leaving all the cities in the dark about. What's apparent from the signage that they put up is that they're going to reroute Route 8 to some direction. They did a report back in 2016 that had several options, and I even kind of asked Newport if they were giving Newport any indication which option they were going with, because a couple of those options run through Newport, and they didn't know. From what KYTC has told us, even if the numbering system does change, and what was previously Route 8 going out Mary Eagles Highway towards Fort Thomas, if that numbering system changes, which those signs have indicated that it will, it's still going to be a state-owned and maintained road. So nothing really changes short-term to that effect. What it impacts long-term is, as a lower status road, we're not going to be required to pump in the tens, almost hundreds of millions of dollars that's needed to stabilize that entire Route 8 towards and into Fort Thomas. The silver lining, and I've been talking with Fort Thomas about this, is because it would be a lower graded road, and the two cities could figure out some longer term solutions for a trail out that way that would kind of expand on Riverfront Commons, and it's something we could go on and grant together. Fort Thomas seemed to like that idea, and it seems to match what they've highlighted in their comprehensive plan. But as of right now, we're kind of waiting to find out what exactly they're going to do, because they're not letting anybody know.
Michael, if they do make a lower state road and then, maybe future abandon that road, then they wouldn't have to take care of the degradation of the road, correct?
Well, that's the fear that everybody's asking me is, well, if they're going to downgrade the road, then is their long-term plan to abandon the road down the road? I don't know. I mean, I know that they don't want to pump the money that they need to make it as stable as it needs to be. I think their philosophy is to just maintain it like they've done the last 10, 15, 20 years. Long-term, your guess is as good as mine at this point. And that would be something that Dayton and Fort Thomas certainly would need to continue to monitor and look into, because that affects both communities pretty heavily.
And so if that road continues to fall into the river, and then all of a sudden it's no longer the state's problem, it's our problem, that's a $45 million problem?
It's expensive. It's expensive.
That's what the state came back with, and that's what they were doing, this was $45 million, right?
Yeah, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but they had a cost effectiveness of what it would cost to fix the road based on the number of cars that use it a day. They figured by moving Route 8 to a different location, they wouldn't have to put as much money into the road. I mean, I think we can all see where it's going long term, is that they don't want to put the money into it to improve it, they just want to maintain it. And the fear from Date's perspective, and Fort Thomas's as well, is are they going to maintain it well enough to keep it from sliding into the river? Because if it slides into the river, then they're going to walk away, and the city would be left holding back.
And then we're stuck in a cul-de-sac, and all we'll have is a trail. We're going to need kayaks to get across on that trail.
So this is what we're waiting to kind of figure out. They're not telling anybody we're kind of guessing at what their I'd be guessing at what their long-term plans are.
Right.
What that means, and we can all sit here and be fearful of it, but.
I think we have a right to be somewhat fearful of that.
But they're not just gonna decide in the next year, or even 5 years, that we're gonna abandon this road, good luck. There needs to be a lot of public input and a process into it. I mean, this doesn't just attack Dayton City Council. You're talking about Dayton, you're talking about Fort Thomas, you're talking about a lot of state.
Melbourne, you're talking
Well,
about everybody.
what I'm talking about, you're gonna start talking about a lot of state legislators that are gonna be involved in this as well. So it's not just Dayton's fight. We just don't know when that conversation is gonna happen. It will happen. We don't know when it's gonna happen. Is what I'm saying.
Michael, the bottom line is this. When they built the AA highway, they forgot about Route 8. They don't want to dump any money into Route 8, and they want to, because they put all the money in AA highway. That's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. That's your state government at work.
The signs are already up through Newport, Southgate, all the way out to Cold Spring, Route 8. And going down 1998 there by Barley Points and everything to connect with Route 8 down there. The signs at the end of 4th Street are 6335 from there on out. They're coming back into town, pretty much from 4th and Manhattan Harbor all the way up to the levee, Newport on the levee, is going to be business Route 8. That's what the signs say already. So the decision's been made. They're just going to tear the bags off and say, here we go. What we have to make sure of, I think, is it really is annoying that there was no public input on this or involvement of the cities. I can't believe that Fort Thomas is not going. There's some beautiful homes out there. There's the aqua ramp out there that could be cut off completely. The bulk of the problem area is within Fort Thomas's borders, not ours. But I think we need to lean on KYTC to make sure that the 4th Street problem that we have in the 1000 block all the way out, that needs to be remedied. If they need to put a weight limit on that 6335, a low weight limit so that no heavy trucks can go out there, because as Ben said, within the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to have a major slide and just walk away from it. It's too expensive to fix. I mean, their estimate.
Well, they're not going to be able to walk away from it.
No.
So they're serious.
There's railroad tracks down there. They're not going to walk away with that. I mean, the train's got to go through there.
They should take an education from the railroad. Their tracks ain't slid.
That's right.
But they're not, the scenario where they just decide, hey, we're done with it, we're walking away, it's something that we can be scared of, but that's not a reality.
Well, that's what we need to get in front of to make sure that that's not going to happen. I mean, this felt, if nobody noticed the signs and asked on Facebook, nobody would have known what was going on.
Which was probably their intent until they started getting some nasty calls.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so,
But I think we could talk about this all night. There's no solution
yeah,
until the state makes.
your guess is as good as mine, and Twitter and Facebook's guess is as good as mine. I talked to Newport today, and they had no idea this was going on.
Well, along that same line, and I'm not gonna beat that horse, spoke with Kentucky Department of Transportation concerning Route 8 and 4th Street in particular. And, worked with Will and Schroeder and Dennis Keene on that as well, trying to make sure that it was in front of them. And they want to know when the trucks will stop coming up and down, the heavy trucks that are using, so then they can mill it and repave it.
Well, we can always divert the traffic for as long as they need to do it.
Well, they said that, well, it's not a matter of time.
Stopping it in general, so that it doesn't happen again.
Right, they don't want to do it and redo it in 6 months.
Right, well,
With the industrial park there,
it's, it being a state highway, it's.
So we're going to get on them to just to fix it and deal with it when they have to, because, I mean, it's
They're not gonna
still,
stop.
it's still a minefield down there.
Yeah, the trucks aren't gonna stop.
I mean, yeah, there's
They're
blacktop,
gonna
water
put
holes, but
262 units down there, whatever it is, and, I mean, they're not gonna stop. They're gonna be coming in heavier once they're building.
Trucks, heavy trucks aren't gonna stop for 15, 20 years.
which is kind of my point, so we need to continue to lean on them to make sure that they mill it and fix it, because it's still a minefield down there. People are swerving to miss potholes, and so they're swerving the wrong lanes, and, it's somewhat dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I warned that they were just, since they just built and paved that 5, 6, 7 years ago, they weren't gonna go in, they're gonna do the bare minimum.
Which they did, Domino's does a better job than what they do.
I believe that. They're gonna go in and fill it with hot coal patch, they're gonna be their solution.
So we need to get on to not make that solution, and we're getting left behind on this.
I have contacted them relentlessly.
I will continue to do so as well. That's all I got.
Anyone else? Any new business? Any new business?
I have an old business.
Okay, let's go back a little bit.
Michael, last month I asked you if you could coordinate the remulching of the signs at 6th and O'Fallon on Dayton Pike. I know it's been mentioned a couple times tonight about beyond the curve. Can you give me a status on those?
It's on our list, that and the trash cans, I know came up last meeting as well, Payne does. I talked with Rick about that late last week, and again, again this morning. So, it's on our list, we'll have it done for,
I'll hold you to that. It's been
We don't have plans for, Bob, maybe this is a better question for you. Any type of plans for fall decorations for Beyond the Curb?
We're working on getting,
Corn husks or whatever.
we got the hanging baskets in.
the hanging baskets,
Lights.
we're getting better banners.
Anyone else have any new business?
I actually have a question on, as you said, Phil's been doing a great job in code enforcement. Looking through the report, there's a lot of high grass citations written, and there's still, we've had a summer crazy for grass. What is the minimum charge? When the Public Works has to go in and cut a property, do we have a minimum charge or an hourly charge? I can't believe that we're cutting these properties all summer long and not bankrupting these.
There's a chart set up.
Yeah, it's usually like, I think it's like 10 bucks an hour, 15 bucks an hour. They just charge us the hourly rate of what it is.
If you got 4 guys working, that's $60.
Yeah, plus the truck.
Plus the equipment.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
a cheap.
You're not getting a cut from us.
It's not gonna.
It's not a cheap grass.
Legally, can we establish a minimum? I mean, there's some lots that take only, like that one on 7th Street behind the firehouse. How many times have we had to cut that? It may only take 10, 15 minutes, so what's the bill? Can we put a $200 or $300 or $500 minimum charge?
But even,
Legally.
the problem is you really can't, because it's an abatement cost versus a fine or a fee. Abatement cost has to be purely what you put into it, what your costs were, because it's just a reimbursement. Versus
By the time we charge,
like a fine or a fee where you can charge a flat number, you can set a number to be charged.
by the time we charge hourly rates per man, dump truck loads per truck, no one's getting out there with a grass cut for less than $100, $150.
I can't believe some of these vacant houses that we don't own them by now for the grass cutting. I mean, that's basically all
Well,
public
it's just
works
been in the
now.
last couple of years that we've implemented this, and I think you'd be surprised how many have probably gotten to that point, foreclosure point, just based on
Fines.
those funds. I mean,
Okay.
because you think that's just one time we're cutting it. If we go back and cut it 3 or 4 times throughout the summer, they're having $1,000 grass cutting bill before they can even get to the taxes. And that's on the quick cut.
At what point do we cut the grass?
After
Phil, since the
Yeah, once
notice.
he warns them, he
Or-
cites them, and then once that's not corrected after the citation, he abates.
Fifth and McKinney, I'm sorry, Fifth and Urban, it's 2 feet tall, easy. And that's just around the outside of the privacy fence.
That's in foreclosure.
And if you poke your head in the backyard,
Foreclosure,
it's a
that's
mosquito
ready to go.
problem.
That's ready to go for auction. So it's passed.
We can't do anything about it?
Fifth and Urban.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the neighbors complained to me the other day, said it was a mosquito haven back there.
I marked it down.
I mean, there's nothing that can stop them from, we can always cut it and abate, but it looks like there's more of a long-term plan of foreclosing and giving it to someone that will take care of its hands, hopefully.
Well, so in answer to my question, and just to clarify, we can only charge what it cost us to abate the problem, correct? We cannot set a minimum charge. I think we need to boost our rates.
Well,
They can also define the citation.
Yeah, no, they're gonna get that too. The rates are based on, whatever that's getting paid for that.
Once the first decided that's $250, then another
First-
$100
that's the flat rate.
on top of it, so you're looking at $350 to $400 for a grass cutting job.
First, second offense, you're looking at 500, third offense, 1,000.
So that would be the flat fee, would be the citation, and then the service fee would be tacked on to that.
I was more concerned about the service, because I know our house, for almost a year, was being cut by Public Works. And it's a little bit bigger than that one on Fifth Street, but, what are our costs? I'm just making sure that we're, A, recouping our costs, and B,
Are you trying to contract with us?
yeah, well, they did a great job. And B, that we're also putting a heavy hand on these people that are just, whether it be a bank or somebody that walked away, we need to get heavier hands on them. And especially this year, it's been worse than
I mean,
ever.
he's worked hard to locate and start talking. He's got, I think he said like 5 people that owns a lot of property in town that he actually picked up the phone and said, here's what's going on, and they go, that's
And we've got about 20 of them that are currently sitting in foreclosure right now.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we're working on it, and it's a slow process, there's no doubt about it.
No, I wish it was like, none of that.
I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
But foreclosure will get you, that's when, 167.
Any more new business? We're going into executive session.
So for your, for motion, I'd ask for a motion for executive section pursuant to KRS 61810, section 1, subsection B, going to be regarding deliberations of a future acquisition or sale of real property by public agency, but only when publicity would be likely to affect the value of specific piece of property being acquired for public use or sold by a public agency. This is in reference to the same issue we discussed the last one.
Need a motion?
Make a motion, we go to executive session.
Motion by Bill.
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
We're in executive session.
Make a motion, we go out of executive session.
Motion? Motion by Bill, seconded by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion by Bill, second.
Second.
By Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.